like these brothers have said, how good God has been to us. And how much that we have got to be thankful for. I was paid last night for the time that we had for the trip up there. There was just a few of us out, and it was mostly family. And
Lord, do bless.
you know, the first thing you think is, well, we'll just sing a song or two and maybe go prayer and leave it at that. Why is it we're always so ready to give up a blessing? Brother Mike, what is wrong with us sometimes? I don't know why we're not more ready to fight for our blessings.
Yeah.
Because as much joy as we can find in the world, as much joy as we can find in the world, we know that our life is always a little bit tainted, Brother Mike, with the knowledge that there's a lot of trouble too. And yet, there's only one resting place that doesn't have the shadow of problems all around it. And when we can feel that Spirit of God, I don't care if it's just for a moment of time, but when we can feel that Spirit of God, we get ourselves a moment that's not shrouded about with worry and things like that. That it's truly, when you can be absent from your body and present with the Lord, that we truly get to rest for a moment of time. And I'm so thankful to get that, because it seems as time goes on, and you'll pray just for a minute, Harold.
Lord, do bless.
As time goes on, when we were real young, it seemed like the fun always stretched out forever in front of us. And as we grow older and we realize how quickly that the time is moving and it's just picking up speed all the time, it feels. You know, I remember what Brother Roy Hudson, he used to say to us, he'd say, when I was a young Christian, I used to read a whole lot, and I would meditate a little bit. It says, as I got older, I began to read just a little bit and meditate a whole lot and think about the things of God and how real that they become. Because you need to understand something. God is very real. The things of God are very real. And when you're young, it's pretty easy to try to push that to the back of your mind. It's pretty easy to try, Alice, to say, well, I'll turn to God soon. But I'm telling you something, you know, as we've said, I've never heard a child of God ever say, well, I wish that I would have waited a little bit longer to become a child of God. But how many of us has said, I wish that I would have turned to God a little bit sooner? listen, people, I'm telling you right now, why, if you don't have a little trouble in your life today, why, you will very soon, because time, it doesn't wait for anybody. But listen, why? And if, if we only had the confidence, listen, of the things of this world, if we only had to have the confidence in our flesh and ourselves, why? Paul said we'd be of all men most miserable. Listen, because realize that our own mortality is enough, brother, listen, to make us miserable. Why? But listen here, I've got a little good news to tell you about today. You pray just for a minute of time, brother. Why? Listen, I found a little cure to the troubles of this world one time. Why? A long time ago I found the answer that I was looking for. Listen here, when I thought that all was lost, when I thought that everything was bad news to me, when I thought, listen, that Brother Mike, there was no relief to be found anywhere. People today, oh Lord, I found an answer that I want to tell you about here. Listen, I found the joy I was looking for. I found the peace of mind that I was seeking after. Here, people will pray for me. Just for the time, I'll quickly get out of your way here. But I read in one place where a long time ago, listen, there was a king over God's people. Listen, why? And he was just one in a long series of kings. Why? And they had a hard time, getting them a king that would fear God and that would try to serve God. But this man, people, and his name was Asa, and when he became king, he began trying to serve the Lord, and he tried to get everybody together, to try to get back to where they needed to be. God, and it said that they had peace for about 10 years there, Mike. Why? And they was just trying to serve the Lord. They weren't perfect. Listen, they didn't do it all exactly right, but his heart was perfect, and that he was trying, brother. And it said that after 10 years, Brother Joe, and it said he had built a pretty strong army. He had about 500,000 strong, Mike, in his army. Listen, he said, after about 10 years, there come an invasion into their land. Coming from the south of them. Out of the land of the Ethiopians there. And there was over 1 million that came out. Listen, that was an awful big army, and it came against them there. They was outnumbered more than 2 to 1 there. How many times have you had to feel outnumbered in this world, Joe? Listen, how many times when you're out, lost, ruined, and undone? Why? Did you realize how times, and to get that little phone call and say, Lord, I can't take no more. I've had all I can stand here. This army, they've got me this time, and they beat me down, and I can't get back up this time. And you know, and this old king here, listen, and they said, he took his army out to battle. Listen, and they could see what was out there, and you know, why? Not like they fight today, Darrell. These people, they had to come out and look at each other face to face. Why? And they could see this army out there, Mike. And can you imagine 1 million strong coming out? Why? They were a great army. No one had even slowed them down, Joe, as they headed that way. While suddenly he said he brought his army out there. When he got out there, they said that he got down and he began to pray a little bit. Oh, God. And he said, oh, Lord, it's nothing with you, Lord, to help us with a few or with a lot. Lord, it doesn't matter to you how you want to help us, because nobody can stop you. Lord, help us, Lord. He said, God, for we rest in thee, O Lord. How you think about that? He said, we rest in you, O God. We put our trust in you. Oh, God. Listen, he didn't say that the thunder rolled. He didn't say the lightning began to strike. Listen, he just says, when he got done with his prayer, he come up and he went to battle there. Listen, trusted in the Lord, brother mine. God had delivered them there, and they won that battle there. Like, and you know, listen, and immediately there came to him an old prophet of God, and that prophet said, you know, you prayed to God, listen, and he heard your prayer, and you need to understand something, and that as long as you are with God, he's going to be with you. Right? If you're not with God, he won't be with you. Why? Oh, God, people, listen to me. You know, I can't tell you the times that I've heard my mom say when we was growing up, listen, Elisha, and we want to do something, and it'd be contrary to what she thought we should be doing, and she'd tell us no, and we'd get all upset, and we'd get angry, and we'd think, you know, we're up here just north of Detroit. Listen, you can't raise us like we're in the head of some holler somewhere. Our friends couldn't understand the way that they was raising us. You know, we get angry, and how many times I hear her say, I can only do what I think the Lord wants me to do. You know, I've heard her say, Brother Terry, I've heard her say, listen, and that someday one of my children may need the Lord. Maybe the Lord remember something when I tried to serve him, and maybe he'll touch one of my children someday. Oh, God, there came a time when I needed one of those little blessings, Brother Earl. There come a time shortly after that when, oh, God, if I ever needed one of her prayers answered, Joe, it was when I was 17 years old, when I was lost, room, listen, I headed to hell as fast as I could get there. Listen, you know, And the world had me down like that army had come out and had me scared to death. Oh, God, there was a time when a great army came out against one of God's children. Listen, and they've been searching for him, and when they found him, they come in at night. Listen, they brought a whole army out against one little child of God. And in the morning they woke up, and that man's servant went out. Went outside, and he looked, and there was an army completely had them surrounded there. And then that servant went back inside, and that old man of God, and he said, we're surrounded. They found us somehow. They got us now. Why, what did old Elisha say there? He just got down on his knees. He didn't say, Lord, save me. And why all he said was, Lord, let my servant see. When I see, oh God. And he said, now you go back out there and see what's out there. And when that servant went out there, that army was still standing there, had him surrounded. But he looked up a little higher, and he seen a bigger army. Completely had them all surrounded. Whoa! He saw the army of God standing there just looking on. People, and I was in trouble, my sin, and I had no resting place. I never got any relief for what was going on. I'd lay down at night, and I'd cry myself to sleep. Oh, Lord, I need you. I'd wake up in the morning, and the first thing on my mind was dread. Lord, I can't face another day. Oh, God. But when he opened my eyes, listen, finally, that night when I was laid there, why, Lord, I've given everything up for you. Listen, Lord, look what I've done for you. And God, look at the sacrifice that I made for you, Lord. Listen, and it finally come on me. Oh, Lord, look at the sacrifice that I made for you 2,000 years ago. Listen, and I cried in my bed that night, and I said, Lord, take my life. I'm ready to go. Lord, just take me home. Take my life, Lord. But don't let me live like this no more. Oh, God. And I felt some rest come into my soul. Ain't no wonder my Lord said, my peace I leave with you. Oh, God, I finally found a little peace in my heart. I finally found a little resting place. Lord, I rest in thee, oh God. Is there anything more beautiful than that? Lord, people, are you ready to go home? Have you got a little rest going on inside? I know there's trouble all around. Everywhere. Always is. But you know what? Joy. The trouble is temporary. Yeah. But the joy is forever. Yes, it is. And how wonderful that is. No prayer. The problems that we face, they're all going to go away. And we struggle with the sickness here in this world, worrying about the phone calls like Brother Elisha got. We worry about our kids. We worry a lot about Rachel, the sickness that she has, and the troubles. But you know what? When I hear my name called, I won't be worried about that anymore. I won't even be looking to see, did everybody make it? I won't be looking, Mike, wondering, how's Dad doing today? Because I'm going to be looking at my Lord only. And that's where, listen, that's where my focus is going to be, Brother Josh. So you come on, Daryl, and don't let anything get between you and God.
No.
Whatever you think that you need, whatever you think it is, that's between you and God, you just lay that down.
Yeah.
And I will tell you this. God don't care how you're dressed. You don't care how you're doing your hair. That is not what it's about. Whatsoever. You turn your heart to God. You don't got to come up here and bow down at this altar. You turn your heart to God. And He'll be found with you. That's the only judge you got to worry about.
Yep.
And if you got a church that's judging you all the time, you can think of